Okay, so it's a Q&A session. We've got lunch in about 15 minutes or so we can take up that time with questions, or not. We can finish early if there's no questions. But what I'll do is ask for volunteers. Anybody got a question? And I'll throw you the cube. For any of the panellists, not for me. I won't be able to answer. Were the presentations that good that there's literally no question about anything? No questions? Yeah. I'll pass this to you. Let you on there.
So I'm a director of a business that has a number of investments, and some of them are looking to sell, some of them are looking to expand, and a couple of them have been looking at crowdfunding. I'm just fascinated to sort of any advice on crowdfunding versus going for available funds in other ways.
I've got to say it's not an area of the market I'm sort of particularly close to, crowdfunding. I think we have a tech and high growth team, which is probably sort of more focused on around those areas. I think the general principles is looking at what the rates are and whether that money will come in. There's a lot of promises around on crowdfunding, which many of them are not delivered upon. So I think that's a priority, and working out what you need in terms of the time frame. Is it a one-off? Is it a consistent that you're going to need to keep dripping over time, and map that out so you're matching your sort of funding requirement with your business requirement?
And you're saying there's plenty of private equity money around at the moment, so
definitely. They're looking at growing businesses, growth businesses. Depends on size. So private equity really starts at 2 or 3 million quid is the lowest check they'll ever write.
For these guys.
So you've got some venture funds that will do below that. There's some family offices and so on that will do that. And as you say, crowdfunding. But also some of the banks, particularly if you're in the technology area, some of the banks are again doing some quite innovative things. HSBC, okay, never got SVB as well, but that have been doing some quite interesting things in terms of growth tech businesses.
Okay, cool, that's helpful.
Just to add, I've got a client that does crowdfunding quite successfully, and they're a retailer. They're in sustainable outdoor clothing. So they, like Andy said, they will have a crowdfund every time they want to maybe open a new store or go into a new territory. And what they find is that it really helps with like a marketing, a brand establishment, a customer acquisition piece, that their investors are in the main, their customers who are then very loyal because they've got that piece of paper that they're part.
Highly relevant to these two businesses.
Yeah,
because...
so it's really great on that. You kind of bring in that customer base with you and they feel invested to continue.
And were they using the big one, Cedars versus Crowdcube? Do you know?
I think they use Crowdcube. I'll talk to you about it afterwards, but especially because that business has a sustainability angle, which we know is a huge investment kind of piece at the moment. They find it really successful. I think they raised about 1.5 to 2 million a pop, but it has a very clear story and a very clear brand strategy along with it.
Which applies exactly to these two businesses.
Great. Does that cover your question?
Yeah.
Has anyone else got a question they'd like to ask? Oh, hang on a minute. We've got to get that cube over. I dare ask you to throw it through that gap.
Yeah, go on.
The coffee machine will be taken out.
That camera goes.
Right, should we try it in one?
I'm sorry for dropping it.
How about that? Well done.
Okay, question for Kat. Your favourite accounting standard leases. What if it's intercompany? So parent owns property,
Yeah.
leases it to...
So we did do loads on this actually, with one of my other clients who does it that way. And what you tend to find is that there's no formal lease between the companies.
We have.
Yeah, so you would, so you'd have like a dual lease in a way. Yeah, because what I didn't mention is that if you're a landlord, there's no real change. So this only goes one way. It only goes really towards the person, the tenant. But there are some, that's a bit like a head lease and a sublease situation. So if the sublease is for the majority of the head lease, which it would be, isn't it? You're just mirroring it across, then you would effectively not recognise it in the original that was head lease company. You would have that on, but then you recognise the asset that you've leased it on to someone else, and then it would be the subsidiary that recognises it. And in the group, obviously, you only just show it once, but it is again a small print. It's worth looking at that small print. But I did have one situation where one company takes on all the leases and then the other company occupies, there's no formal agreement. So then you'd be recognising the liabilities in the company that didn't actually benefit from it. So it is a bit fiddly, but it sounds in your situation that hopefully you would recognise it where the company that's benefiting from that lease would sit.
Okay, any other questions? No? No more questions? Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming. I will just click on this button here because we've got a feedback scanner thing. So you know how these things work now, these codes. So if you could give us your feedback today, that'd be great. You can literally walk up and scan that thing there. I think there's some dotted around in the pantry as well. If you can follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and what else? all the social media that the kids use. Let's get on that. If you can follow us on that, that'd be great. Guys, thanks ever so much for coming. Like I said, there's food and drink in the pantry, which should be served about now, in about 5 minutes' time. Very welcome to stay with us and enjoy some lunch. If you need to leave now, then no problem at all. But thanks very much for coming on.